Good afternoon. I thought I would create these videos for you to make the next steps, I guess, in the program a little clearer on how to progress and maybe clear some of the stuff that's brought you to this position. Now, a few weeks ago, I know that you completed the apology language profile. And what I think is important to know when we are dealing with infidelity, and I mentioned this to you earlier in the program when we were meeting up as well, that there's sort of three phases of moving past this. And the first one is where we do some, I guess, reconcile what happened. We show that there's remorse, and I guess in a way that there's some regret somewhere, somehow shown to the other person. Now, when you are going to be showing the regret, we need to know from the other person as well, what does that look like? How will you specifically know that they know that you're showing regret? So remember, everything has got to come back to making sure we're understanding each other and what the other one is doing. Because we've explained earlier how someone can be saying, I love you, but maybe that's not what they need to hear as a word of affirmation to know that they're loved, which may not make sense, but it doesn't have to, because it's how it feels inside and what your, I guess, subconscious needs to know that consciously it's happening. So I guess the question here is to refer back to the apology profile to what is expressing regret and how does that look like? What do you need to do? Now, I guess I am going to say that this isn't something that needs to go on endlessly. It does need to be timely, because if someone's going to be making someone express regret forever, then they're not going to forgive that person who has had the indiscretion, I guess. So it's just going to be a time to tap into what feels right and is that enough for the other person. And people will show you that they're believing you. They'll show you how things are going as well, not just by words, because more of our communication is non-verbal than verbal. So think about how you can sincerely express regret both verbally and through the body language. Is it having those deep conversations, that eye-to-eye contact, to really be present with that person and be there for them? So what else could it be? It could be showing a gift. It could be doing something else. So you've got to have these open conversations. Well, if you need me to express regret, what does that look like for you, so that I know I'm doing it how you need? Because this is not about you, it's about the other person and what they need. And other ways, I guess, to make this atonement, to move through this in a form of an apology, is also making, to make, as the profile says, make a restitution with what happened. So it's, again, getting in touch with what caused it, I guess. Why did we go wrong and how can we move forward? It can even be just showing that your partner, that you are still in love with them, and telling them as well. Because again, it's all about your other partner, and they need to know what that is for them. And again, while I'm looking down on the notes, this is easily something that you can be referring to as well. So just remember to go back to the love languages. Like, you do have a lot of tools so far to move through these processes and be able to have communication together that's like, the emotion is out of the conversation. We're purely just two adults talking and discovering and working out a way forward. So again, getting back in touch with the love languages and showing love how your other partner wants to be loved. And again, another part of this is accepting responsibility for what's going on and owning how you did that. And it's not like, I guess some people can feel like they're full of self-doubt now, or that they're going to be judged. They've failed at this. But this is where you have to get, I guess, a bit unfuckwithable and unshakable inside you with your sense of self, knowing that, yeah, we're all human. We all make mistakes, but I'm here doing the work and I'm owning it. And this is why keeping your personal business to yourself is way better than sharing it with too many people, too much outside influence, opinions, and a lot of them will be unasked for opinions as well. And most people, if you speak to them, if they have been cheated on before, and you don't know how many times, right? So what if they've kept those secrets to themselves, they haven't dealt with it, and then they're going to put all their stuff onto the work that you've done? So that's why keeping it to yourself is important. And I think in one of the other videos you've seen, I talk about, like, failure is when you just check out and do nothing about it. But you've shown up, you're doing this work, you're stuck with me for a bit longer. So I commend you both on going this far and showing up and actually doing the work and taking notice of all the learnings and lessons that are coming from the sessions. So accepting responsibility is a big thing. And it's not about, when I've said the other person taking the blame, yes, in all relationships, there are three sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth. And the truth is always in that unconscious of our patterns that are actually running the show. But right here, we're dealing with these things consciously. And when you can own it, accept responsibility, and I guess put a line and vow to never do that again. Because somewhere along the line, someone's going to have a deal breaker of no more. This is it. So refer back, and then I guess it's making a genuine effort then to move forward in the relationship with that new chapter you're consciously creating. Not just one that you're going with the flow, you're doing what everybody else does. This is one where you dig deep, you get below the surface, you take the learnings, but you incorporate it into a way of life. And when you learn about, well, what does the other person need from me? How do I meet her needs as a woman and as a man? Because it does go both ways. And how can I add, how can this be something that brings us together and unites us and makes us stronger than ever? And referring back to that, the words of where I said, I choose her or him every day, and showing up like that. And then asking each other other questions that you've never asked before, such as, well, what has to happen for you to specifically know that either one, you've healed, or that you trust me again? And just have those regular check-ins with each other, because you're going to need to do that. And then it's going to be another line drawn in the sand going, we've done that, we've worked through it. Now we are living the new chapter as these new people we choose to be, not being people we are conditioned to be because of our past. Because that keeps you at effect of what's going on. That'll keep you stuck in blame and denial. It'll keep you stuck. And it won't be helpful. And then we want to move to a place of where we are actually at forgiveness. And that is possible. There's also a really powerful hypnotherapy session that I do that is reuniting a couple after the indiscretions, the infidelity, whatever you want to call it. So that's up to you if you want to progress and do that as well. And I've sort of blended the stages into a, I guess, a little bit. So I'm going to pause this video and I'll come back to you with this next phase of the work.